Architecture is more than just bricks and mortar. It is the language through which we shape our environment and tell our stories. We delve into the mind of one of Nigeria's most celebrated architects, architect Theo Lawson, a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Architects. Every great architect has a foundation, a beginning that shapes their vision. For Theo Lawson, his initial and enduring love for art transformed architecture into more than just a craft. It became a canvas for storytelling.
Architecture never really crossed my mind after my school cert because I thought architecture was science, was more of a science subject. And in Nigeria, then you required math and physics as prerequisites. So um, my my grades then, though I got all my grades, I couldn't find a particular course that that worked for me. Until I got to England, I did my A levels, and then at the time I wanted to go into art, maybe like graphics, because I grew up with arts, a talent in drawing. So there was always those guys drawing in class and everything. So thought maybe graphics would have been my direction, advertising and stuff. Until my eldest brother thought, look, I'm not going to look after you if you say you want to go into art, because I didn't think there was much of a profession or a livelihood in art. So I was in England and I met young architecture student who talked about the AA. And the AA was a design-based school and had art and design at its forefront, not so much the science side. I should apply. And I went to they asked me to produce a portfolio. So I sent a portfolio of drawings and photography. And with my one A level at the time, they said, oh, come and join the school. So, and they fed my second A level to go on the course.
In 1990, he founded Total Consult, a firm renowned not only for commercial and residential projects, but also as a leader in stage and set design during the 80s and 90s. His passion for cultural spaces culminated in Freedom Park, Lagos, transforming Nigeria's first colonial prison into a vibrant arts hub. Beyond Freedom Park, Theo's work spans iconic projects such as the Motherland Performance Center, the Calcutta Museum, and the Lekki Conservation Center. Beyond the buildings that they design, architects play a pivotal role in shaping how we experience the world around us. Theo Lawson sheds light on what it truly means to be an architect.
I think the architect from training, by his training, is a solution provider. So the whole idea is to find how you can solve a particular problem. The architect's role primarily is to solve problems. So in any situation, the architect is the one looking at all the elements and finding how they can come together or finding a solution to any existing challenge that might exist. So in community, we are like we could be peacemakers, or we could be um, solution providers for economic development, economic growth, or just cultural development within the space. So we tend to analyze the situation and look for what our role or what role we think we can play in any existing situation. But the thing is, finding a solution to any challenge that might exist.
For Theo Lawson, the journey of design is like building a layer. Each element is carefully added, refined, and reconsidered until it all comes together into something that fully works.
Everything is layered. First of all, you look at the brief. What's the brief? What does the brief require? Then look for your concept and look for how you can bring a concept and concept and requirements, functional requirements together, and then start going over and over and over again until you find a good blend. It's not. There's no one solution to it. It's a process where you layer and layer and layer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just keep
Yeah, layering.
putting it
And
together.
when you start finding something that works, then you can expand on that. You can play that.
The layered approach reflects not just his process, but his philosophy, embracing complexity, iteration, and patience to create spaces that tell a meaningful story. Theo's philosophy extends beyond aesthetics. His work often grapples with storytelling. Through his architecture, he seeks to weave narratives that connect people to culture, history, and purpose, ensuring every structure speaks to its context and community.
I enjoy history. And or maybe while I was at the AA, I think the problem was that African students had a problem explaining themselves to the European lecturers, or explaining their concept or their approach to the word, because we really didn't have a historical connection with their architectural history. So whereas European students would, or American students, talk about their knowledge of Baroque and classical architecture and all of that, we were not so trained or so immersed in the history of architecture like that, European architecture. So they had an advantage. So for me, I needed to start looking at my own roots and find things that were strong enough to be able to push them and say, look, this is where I come from, and this is why I want to do this, the way I want to do it. So having to now educate them on our own culture, and educate them well enough that, I mean, with enough proof that they bought into it, that they actually say, wow, yeah. And one of those tools was Fela. I listened to Fela's music, and Fela's always a muse. I mean, and everybody likes to recognize the richness and the work of his.
Your architecture has some level of connections to music.
Music, history, folklore. I find a connection with something in my past.
For Theo Lawson, architecture is more than creating spaces. It's about telling stories. Each design carries a narrative, a message deeply rooted in the place and its history. Freedom Park, arguably one of his most iconic works, stands out as a testament to this philosophy.
Freedom Park has the story of this old colonial prison, that was 100 years of prison, and was destroyed in the 70s, or pulled down in the 70s, so the developers could develop high-rise apartments. But because of the coups, nothing happened. All the military coups that happened, nothing got developed, and the site was abandoned for over 30 years. So coming back to look at this space and digging up the history and looking at people who were here before and trying to celebrate the presence of Awolowo, Herbert Macaulay, Jakonde, Nahur and co. that were here. So we came up with the notion of Freedom Park. It was a place where our forefathers who fought against colonial government were incarcerated. So for us, it was a symbol of liberty.
Theo's design for Freedom Park doesn't erase its dark past, but embraces it, turning it into a narrative of resilience.
We started putting things around that told the history of the place without rebuilding a prison. So we had some things symbolically representing what was there before. Like a food court was where the old prison kitchen was. The main stage was where the gallows were, where the hung prisoners they put prisoners on the stage. Yes. The museum is where the old records office used to be.
Wow.
So it's symbolic references to what was here before, without actually.
But like a new meaning of liberty.
Yes.
The preserved prison cells and historical elements remind visitors of its origin, while the open spaces and cultural hubs celebrate its rebirth as a place of freedom, art, and connection. Every architect dreams of having the perfect tools to bring their vision to life. For Theo Lawson, the journey of design often involves working within the constraints of materials and manpower?
I would love to have access and to the materials and to the skilled manpower to work with rammed earth or to work with bamboo and natural materials as much as possible. That's my biggest passion. But you see, the problem right now is funding. I mean, to try to build in mud today would probably be more expensive than building in regular cement blocks. Yes, yes, good. Take for instance Lagos, where you have sharp sand. The land, the soil is all um, sharp sand, beach sand, and if you don't get clay within Lagos environment unless you go to Ikorodu and places like that outside. Then you have to ship the laterite to your site, say in Victoria Land or anywhere else where there's sharp sand. There's a cost of transportation, and then cost of molding your blocks there, and then building with earth in the south, in the southwest here, for instance, is very difficult because of the weather. It rains all the time, and the most building with clay or rammed earth or laterite, you have to keep the material dry during the course of construction, and then protect it after you've built, either by having some treatment on the wall, yes, or a roof to protect the wall. But if you have a good foundation and a good hat, it's called good boots and a good hat, your mud wall, no matter how raw it is, could last many years.
So you're saying you'd like to work with these materials, but
If
there are
they were,
constraints.
yes, there's constraints.
What about
I have worked with them before while I was in Jos.
Okay.
I lived in Jos. I did a course at Motna, which is the Museum of Traditional
Motna.
Nigerian Architecture.
Yeah.
I actually built the Bauchi State Museum using traditional Tubali bricks. So we worked with some artisans at the museum, designed
Local artisans.
local artisans who work with traditional Tubali bricks.
I don't know what these are.
Tubali bricks are these conical bricks that they mold in the north.
Okay.
They use them to build their walls, and that's why walls have a slant.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's conical, so it's big at the bottom and conical.
And
so the way they're arranged, yes.
Upwards.
Yeah.
Wow. And do you know why they design like that?
I think so they can interlock. So it's conical here, so the base of the element can fit into the
next one.
Yes, because if it's conical, there's a bigger hole.
Yeah.
There, so the base of your next one can sit inside.
So it's
so it locks. Yeah.
Wow.
So you fill in mortar, you put in the local mortar in between, then build it up like that.
Wow. So that's great.
Theo's commitment to leveraging local resources speaks to his ingenuity as an artist. It's a testament to his belief that architecture can thrive, even in the face of constraints, when creativity meets a deep understanding of context. What makes architecture Nigerian? Is it the material, the techniques, or the stories behind the design? Theo Lawson offers a thought-provoking perspective on this topic.
Nigerian architecture doesn't exist.
One word.
Yeah, not just that.
Okay.
We're all in a search. We're all searching for vernacular.
Okay.
We cannot say, "Oh, I found the Nigerian language." Everybody is in their own individual search, but everybody will have their own Nigerian architecture because by virtue of being Nigerian and by virtue of working within Nigeria and by virtue of the materials you engage with, if they are local. So you can say whatever building you build that evolves from a concept within Nigeria, made by Nigerian architects, using Nigerian materials, is Nigerian architecture. That is bland. I mean, it's nothing conceptual about it, but it's just direct. That's what Nigerian architecture would be. We live in a globalized society, in a global village, so architecture is sort of more generic. People want to be classicists or brutalists or deconstructivists or whatever. We all pander into the existing styles. So we cannot really say that there's any particular. We can't go back to the huts and say we want to go and start building huts. We can use Adobe. You can use Adobe, but in a form that can be described as organic or classical or whatever it is, but you're using a material that's indigenous.
Okay.
But so
that responds to
yeah. But it's not so much a style. You can't say Nigerian. There's a Nigerian architect.
there is
Nigerian
no
style.
style.
For Theo, the essence of Nigerian architecture lies not in strict definition, but in the individuality of the architect's vision. It's about embracing the Nigerian concept and translating it into a built form that reflects the stories, challenges, and aspirations of the society that it serves. The journey of an architect is not just about creating designs, it's also about managing relationships. For Theo Lawson, dealing with clients is both a challenge and an opportunity to educate.
Unless a client actually wants to work with an architect, there's no way you can educate a client, because all the clients say they know better than everybody. They know what they want.
Yes.
Most clients say they know what they want. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Everybody knows what they want. They actually show you in magazines, I want something like that. And that's the point where you can either pull back, pull away from the project, or try to explain why that might not work. So you can't really educate them. It's very subtle. You have to be very subtle, because clients' egos are very clear. I know what I want, that kind of thing. But if you can prove to the client that what you want might be, for instance, a guy wants to build a 7-bedroom big mansion on a piece of land that barely fits it, could fit it, but barely fits it.
Yeah.
I now explain the fact that you've left out any provision for nature, trees,
Like
green, environmental consideration. And secondly, you'll outgrow the house, your kids will move out, and very soon it'll be you and your wife. And then later on, it'll just be you, because your wife will go and start doing Omugo when the kids start having their kids. So you're stuck with this big house you cannot maintain. And there are lots of examples like that all over the place which you can point to. So that's the only way you can educate clients, through example, but not that, you can't start talking about philosophy of architecture to them. All you're doing is telling them about examples, what's happened. You can use example, based on their brief, or on their, this is what I want.
In the world of architecture, ideas are not just born in isolation. They grow through communication. Theo Lawson believes that sharing your ideas is essential for validating your truth.
You see, the thing is, every now and then you get this spark of an idea. Oh wow, that's a great idea. I wish I can do that. But that particular time, you don't have the resources, or you don't have the opportunity to find a way to make that happen. So you said, some people say, let me hold on to this idea forever, and you just hold on, because the right time will come. I mean, I'll do this. But you see, I think otherwise. I think if you're given an idea and you don't throw it out there, you don't try. If you can't do it, and you don't throw it out there, there's no room for new ideas coming. So you have to keep sharing your ideas, putting your ideas out there. If it's the right time, it will happen. If you find the right connection at the right time, that idea will fly. Or even if it doesn't, if it goes, you tell somebody else and that person implements it, it validates your own idea. Oh, my idea works because somebody else has made it work. It might not be you, but you can see that, and so you now start trusting your own ideas more, because it's validated your concept or your thoughts.
As the world of architecture evolves, the future of the profession in Nigeria is on Theo Lawson's mind. With emerging technologies like AI, it expresses both hope and concern for the path ahead.
I'm scared. No, I'll tell you why.
All right.
You all know what AI can do right now.
Yes.
So AI very soon will become the go-to tool for design, and might also put a lot of architects out of business.
Theo believes that while AI can greatly enhance architectural design, it's crucial that architects remain in control. He hopes for a future where AI is seen as a tool to augment rather than replace the human touch in architecture.
Unless architects harness the tool quickly and know how to use it differently. No, because okay, look, garbage in, garbage out. It's what you
Yes.
put into what prompts
You put
give
into
you
the
put into it
AI
that
that it brings
it
out.
brings out. So if I'm into organic architecture, for instance, and my style, that's my style, and my prompts put in that direction. So it might make my work easier, but then who's going to pay for that? Who wants to pay for a cheap job? I mean, you yourself will not feel have you've earned
Fulfilled.
anything. You won't feel fulfilled that okay, I've not worked hard for this. So you'll take whatever money comes because at that time it'll be as you ever say popular way. Is it popular way? Cheap. Architecture become cheap.
In the journey to becoming a successful architect, Theo Lawson has seen many architects make a common mistake, prioritizing monetary gain over the work itself.
The biggest mistake, um, well, maybe in any profession, is to go for the money first. If you're saying everything, if you put everything around the money, you might just get blinded by that and you become slave to the money rather than the project is not as important as the money that comes from it. So I can't say don't be ambitious. Don't be ambitious. Yeah, be ambitious about becoming a good architect, becoming a celebrated architect. Um, Hopefully, the money will come with it. If even if it doesn't come with it, you have enough projects out there that your legacy, like Fela died pretty much a poor man because his house had been burnt, and a lot of things happened. But now his kids are reaping the benefit of his portfolio. He's left behind a portfolio of a repertoire of work that is now
Being celebrated.
yeah that's for the whole world actually. We all enjoy his music till tomorrow. So you put in your best and build yourself, build your portfolio, and let that speak for you.
Theo Lawson's advice is clear. It is the work that matters. If young architects focus on the quality of their design and the value they provide, financial rewards will come naturally as a byproduct of their commitment to excellence. Theo Lawson shares invaluable advice for young and aspiring architects, especially those still in school.
I'd say be prepared for torture, mental,
All
physical
right.
torture, because it's architecture is a game of the mind, especially when you're in school,
Mm.
because there are lots of ideas being thrown at you. You're finding out your own ideas or liking certain things. Your lecturer likes other things. I failed my very first year because I thought I
Wow.
knew. Yeah, I failed my first year
Wow.
at the
Wow.
AA. I, like I said, I could draw. I came with a drawing background. So I didn't realize how the AA worked at the time. You're given a choice of no, 3 units in the first year.
Okay.
You have a choice of each of the different units with different unit heads.
Mm-hmm.
Each of them gives a presentation. Each of them gives their presentation, and the students take who they want to join, which units they want to join. There's a particular lecturer who started started a lot, and he was old and started a lot, and he didn't attract a lot of people. But I stupidly put him as my second choice. I had my main choice.
Yes.
Then just like okay, since he had to put two choices, I ticked him as second choice. Maybe I should choose the last one. I just didn't put second choice, but I ended up in that unit because nobody else, not too many people put their names
Put the
down. Yeah,
names down. Yeah.
and I was very frustrated because this guy stammered. So going through tutorials with him was torture. I mean, we spend about half an hour talking about a door swing, why a door should swing like this, and I was not that patient.
Yeah. You
Get on
wanted
with
to do
this.
things fast.
I want to build. Let's build things. Let's
Yeah.
do things. So I stopped, like literally stopped going for tutorials. I was doing my own thing. Once a brief comes out, I go start thing. I bought an airbrush. Oh, it's airbrushing. I was teaching myself art or improving my art, but was I did technical drawing, so understood geometry, but I wasn't learning design.
Okay.
I was just putting blocks together and stuff like that. But I skipped on the whole essence. I didn't learn anything that first year, and I came across when at the end of the jury. I mean, they asked, so how many times did you meet with
Yeah.
your tutor? And that was right there. I mean, I just saw it. It
Yeah.
was
It was
fail. So the second year, okay, then again, I was also very confused by at the A it was like I said, it was a design based school, so it
yes.
had a lot of crazy people. Guys would come with dead fish and all sorts of crazy things that as Nigerian we wanted to pay. I'm not you know, they had all sorts of things like that. But if you look now at that fish now, the bones of the fish, you see some in Calatrava's work.
Yes.
You know, you see so after that failure, I said, look, I'm going to join these mad people. I have to go. I have to. That's why I say it's architecture because I stopped going to parties. I stopped mixing with Nigerian friends,
Socializing.
socializing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I locked myself into a world where I had to find these stories, this myself.
Theo recalls a specific project from his time in school that shaped his approach to architecture. It wasn't just the design itself, but the lessons he learned through the process that left a lasting impact.
And the briefs were very random, very abstract. So first brief in the my first year, second time round was Secret Garden. Secret Garden, designing Secret Garden. So my Secret Garden was a mental space, or was a space in my mind where you had this African student who had traveled across the ocean to Europe and realized that all his solutions, all he's looking for is back home.
Back home.
Europe looked pretty, you know, grass is always green on the other side, but the truth is at home. So I had this garden where I had this two-sided garden that's divided by a stream. One side was very formal gardens. The other side was a forest. So forest represented Africa, where you could pick from nature all the medicines, all the notions of truth about nature and our existence. And I crossed the river to come and publish the information in this modern world. So was that my mind was always this conflict between being an African and being Western, trained Western education style. So, and that conflict was always pervaded my work throughout. I always try to push that journey that is a process. I mean, I am finding myself that journey through my work. I was creating stories that I was turning into buildings, and that was for me that was my own craziness.
For Theo, the journey of becoming an architect is not just about mastering design, but about embracing growth. His advice to aspiring architects: stay focused, seek experience, and never stop refining your craft.